Hi there, my name is Jonathan Matthews, and this is my TLD presentation titled Achieving My Potential, the Transformative Journey of Personal and Professional Growth. What did I want from postgraduate study? So, I didn't want to let my past life events control my future. I previously graduated from undergraduate degree 7 years ago. I got a 2-2, which was not a grade that I thought reflected my abilities, and also I found it hard in the graduate scheme of things to find jobs that I wanted to do in the future. So I worked in customer service for 7 years, which was not a path I wanted to continue on, and I really needed to refocus to find something I was passionate about. I wanted to develop more knowledge about marketing, which is something that I worked with whilst I was working in customer services. I wanted to know more about the uses, the techniques of marketing, the application, and especially in a digital context, because it's more relevant in a modern day society. So I wanted to use this master's degree to gain a higher wage, essentially get a mortgage, get on the property ladder, and subsequently have more independence and more security. I want to work in content marketing. My dream job is to be a content marketing manager. I would love to do social media content, website content, YouTube content, everything for big companies. Also, I turn 30 next year, so I wanted to get this done as soon as possible, essentially just because when I get a mortgage, I may not have the time. So it's basically now or never. So, in order to find my strengths and weaknesses, I used the Myers Briggs test from Carl Jung for self evaluation, but then decided to demonstrate what I've learnt throughout the course using the SWOT analysis for examination on that further. So, this demonstrated my weaknesses that I disliked conflict, I was quite quiet, I preferred not to be the centre of attention, and I found it difficult to make people related decisions. However, there were strengths. So I demonstrated leadership qualities. I was artistic and innovative, intuitive, and had empathetic skills. I was planned and organised, but I was also analytical, so I was able to make links between concepts. However, there were threats that showed up, showing that under stress I take criticism personally, like I obsess over unimportant details, and it results in low self esteem. I prefer to be a leader rather than a follower, which means I can ignore some people's opinions and I'm more comfortable working by myself. However, these threats lead to opportunities, which gives me an opportunity to learn to be more assertive. I can evidence myself as an introvert, but I can also make sure I try and make a significant contribution to trying to share what I have in class and not to be afraid of voicing my ideas. I want to be able to put myself into new scenarios in environments to boost and increase my experience in a team setting, like presentations. If I am to be frank, this pretty much hit the nail on the head for me, especially the taking criticism personally. Was very real. A lot of this I am very aware of, but it's only recently that I've started to actually act on it and trying to improve it. So, what have I done to develop myself whilst being an MBS student? So I've tried to prioritise my studies more. Something in my undergraduate degree, I didn't focus on my studies as much, and so therefore I've kind of sacrificed a lot of social commitments and nights out to ensure that I get the most out of my degree because it's something I regret in my undergraduate. I volunteered to do lead group work. I've made efforts to demonstrate my capabilities as a leader, utilising my previous work experience and my travel and my age, because I am a bit older than a lot of the people who are also my classmates, and just to make informed decisions and communicate ideas to others, because it's previously been a source of failure and fear subsequently. I wanted to volunteer in general, so I wanted to put my skills and myself out there. I helped a fitness business with their digital marketing presence, which is something that I will discuss later. But yeah, I wanted to do more volunteering, get stuck in. So, how do I know I've changed? So, my confidence in myself has gone up massively, and my abilities are reflected in my grades now. My grades have been the highest they've ever been in my whole academic career from school to now. So I engage and voice my point of view in class, something that I previously struggled with for fear of failure, like I mentioned earlier. And I've contacted businesses to see if I could help with the digital marketing, which is something I would never have done before, but suddenly I'm able to do it with the right amount of confidence. I'm also not consumed with anxiety. This is something that I've struggled with through the whole of my life, and the prospect of presentations I found quite daunting. And subsequently, I've got a lot more confidence in this area, which I'm hoping this presentation shows. But yeah, it's definitely something that I've improved on. I've been good in group scenarios as well, and people have assumed that I would take a leadership role, which is quite humbling for me because I've never been in that scenario before, and I feel it shows the journey that I've come through. Equally, I was asked by a tutor before the learning became online whether I was considering doing a PhD route because I would be eligible. This is something that I've never considered previously because I didn't think I would be intellectually smart enough to do so. So I was overwhelmed with, just being proud and excited. And it really made me feel like I've come a long way and that maybe I should acknowledge other opportunities as well. So my CPD activity, the how I chose it was I chose ideas using the weaknesses from the Briggs Myers test. So I had 10 activities that totaled to 26 hours, and I wanted to build on skills that would help my digital marketing career in the future. So in October, I made an action plan. I wanted to build on 4 main areas: engagement with the university, leadership, digital marketing skills, and assertiveness. So I put them into a table, and obviously these are the CPD activities that I did to accomplish those action plans. So here are a few snippets of my CPD. Here is the Radio 4 live broadcast of the Today Show at NTU.
It's 6 o'clock on Friday, the 7th of February. Good morning, this is Today with Justin Webb in Nottingham and Michelle Hussein in London. The headlines this morning: the care regulator is to investigate the case of a teenager who threw a young boy.
And subsequently, I went to a Marketing U lecture, which is about personal brand, with Elliot Davis, who's the CEO of Contrast Marketing, who was in Nottingham. And he described a lot of things which I found really insightful, which I'll go into later. And also, I had the opportunity to help a personal trainer with his digital marketing skills, with his social media and his website. Now, he was doing lockdown workouts, which I'll show you. Now, I can't put the sound on this due to copyright for the music, but essentially, this was our most successful campaign. It had the most amount of shares and 549 views, which is outstanding for him as he's very local to Bristol and not very well established as of yet. He's only been doing this for about 4 to 5 months. So this was a really good progress, and it really showed that we were doing something good and building some reach and traffic for his business. So what did I learn? So I learned to adopt the right mindset. This has helped massively in how I deal with my fear of failure and tendency to be self-critical. I realised that if I take small steps that encourage a larger goal but challenges me to be the better version of myself, essentially it's crucial for going forward. And that's something that I learned from the Winning Mindset lecture. Obviously, like I said, the positive mindset is crucial, and I shouldn't let obstacles get in the way of my motivation towards my career goals. If I ensure that I adapt to any changes or any negative events that happen, I should stay positive. I will be able to see the opportunities better, and I'll be able to grasp them better. Instead of concentrating on what's got wrong, I should concentrate on what could come out of this. Be brave and communicate my ideas. Previously, in a team setting, I would never have voiced my opinion for the fear of embarrassment and failure. So when we did the team building at Thornbridge, we found that we were more successful when ideas were communicated and voiced. That way we could, see various outcomes and advantages and disadvantages and see what the different strategies would work better. And it really boosts your confidence to see how things are better and how your idea can sometimes be used for it to be successful. And it realised that you can transfer this to a professional setting. I realised my personal brand and to not be afraid of asserting it. So I realised the importance of proactive behaviour in an age where technology makes communication easier. It makes it even more important, especially for graduate life. If I remember to be creative, proactive, and show keen interest in the ability to communicate my ideas, I think I will go far. the Marketing You lecture changed my behavior massively. I've been trying to take a proactive approach since that lecture, and I tried to utilize what Davidson had said. So I spread the word to friends and family that I needed experience in digital marketing and that my services were available for anyone who wanted some free advice. And it resulted in me in helping Jeremiah, the personal trainer who you saw earlier, with his digital marketing and social media. Without me being assertive and taking on the theory that Elliot Davidson had said and showing my capabilities, I would never have got that experience. So it's definitely a change in my behavior, which has come out massively. Why do I think self assessments are important? So I think it forces you to confront your strengths and weaknesses. It makes you evaluate yourself, and it identifies which areas to work on in the future, and ultimately you become more of a productive and innovative person. So, and it's also part of emotional intelligence, and it shows willingness to improve and not plateau. Makes you want to build on yourself, and I think it's a key trait for managers in the future and just general member of society. The more accomplished I become at realizing what motivates me, the more aware I'll be of how to motivate those around me in a managerial role as well. Uh, Also, quite importantly, learning to love myself. I have strengths, but I also have weaknesses. And for example, like I've mentioned, I'm naturally quite self-critical. Instead of viewing this negatively, I've learned to embrace it as part of who I am and therefore learn to love it. That way, I can concentrate on using it as a fuel to motivate me and strive for my dream job. Confidence and empathy, especially in a managerial role. If I know myself better and it encourages independence and subsequently confidence, I can tackle my own weaknesses and it will make me more empathetic to other people who may suffer from the same traits or something different, and I will be able to empathize with them and try and help. So, will I use PDP in the future? Ultimately, yes. I've learned that developing your personal self and professional self is important to keep up to date with the business, but also assessing your strengths and weaknesses, who you are personally. And it makes you able to embrace those opportunities that you've not considered before. An example for me would be the assertion for PhD. It wasn't my original reason for starting the masters, but if I hadn't have tried to push myself and embrace everything that had happened at the time, I wouldn't have been able to have this opportunity. I can see the benefits of it, and it's something that I will continue in the future using PDP, but it brings out opportunities that I've never thought possible, and the PhD being one of them. However, I wouldn't use it for everything I do. I would mainly use it for new skills and for long term plans, and I would subsequently make the short term goals to contribute to that long term plan, but that would be the only time that I would use it. And so here are my SDG question answers. So I feel that there are three main goals that hold significance with digital marketing, with the emphasis of this discipline being online. A goal number 9 of industry, innovation, and infrastructure is crucial for ensuring that there is a global accessibility to the internet, especially in developing countries. Without this, developing nations will not be able to compete with each other, and countries who have more established virtual infrastructure will always come out on top. Essentially, digital marketing provides a unique opportunity for people to enter new lives and jobs that they previously just didn't exist. Therefore, the eighth goal of decent work and economic growth is fundamental. For example, social media utilization is a tool that is becoming increasingly relevant for small, medium, and large companies. This technological progression has created jobs that were previously not available. With more people employed, this will boost profits for all companies and subsequently the economy. Equally, there are valid opportunities for the tourism industry, which is an important source for income for many developing countries. The use of digital marketing techniques to boost its reach where it hadn't been able to go before via methods such as SEO and social media, they could use it to show their sustainability and attract foreign tourists who have like-minded ideas. Additionally, many disabled people in developing countries are not able to get jobs due to their physical limitations. Thus, digital marketing presents a skill that levels the playing ground essentially. The opportunities become the same as able bodied students. You are able to create awareness of rights, of the chance to develop a business for disabled people. However, for these opportunities to become available, goal 4 of quality education is key for future employment. Without the increase of quality literature, professional training, and teaching and scholarships for both men and women, these prospects are stunted. So, what I understand about responsible management is to balance the means of business and environmental needs for future generations to prosper in the same way as previous ones. It can take various forms. Ethically, it can mean demonstrating transparency. It can, with the fast fashion retailer, displaying their supply chain or treating employees equally and with respect. It can also take environmental forms such as corporate social responsibility, where energy and resource efficiency, like saving printing paper, can help to reduce the company's impact on the planet. If we want the people in the future to balance the interests of business and the environment seriously, then a precedence needs to be set from the top down. Otherwise, the company can come across as dishonest and subsequently suffer reputational damage. I feel that in today's society, sustainably centric companies have an advantage over companies as it's becoming more popular to be environmentally conscious for both customers and future employees. For example, Patagonia, who you can see on the screen, have a superior brand image compared to other outdoor retailers as they have a strong environmental stance. Now onto the competency questions. At my last job, I worked as a customer relationship manager, along 4 others in a business consultancy company. One of our team had resigned, and a new colleague was going to be joining us. Usually, the manager directly dealt with this and the training of the new staff. However, there had been a calendar mix up, and she had booked 2 weeks of annual leave, so there was no one to help and train the new starter. I volunteered to train the new member of staff in the administration processes and day to day roles, as I was the most experienced member of the staff. I did this for 2 weeks and subsequently was commended on my willingness to provide support to an inexperienced colleague despite my workload. Whilst I was working for Nikon's camera repair centre, I took a call from reception to say that a disgruntled professional photographer who wanted to speak to someone about why their repair was not completed. I spoke to the customer, who relayed his frustration at the previous reassurances that he was given to the repair being completed, with a week due to him needing it for upcoming jobs. I spoke to the workshop manager, who explained that due to the severe impact damage, the repair was waiting on several spare parts that were not available in house and had to be ordered from the Tokyo headquarters. Not wanting to return to the customer without a resolution, I communicated the problem to my team to see if we had any loan cameras to give in place of this repair. Whilst they searched for loan availabilities, the workshop manager checked the refurbished stock to check on any loans that they may have. Thankfully, the PR department sourced a loan camera to match the customers, and we were able to explain the delay, apologise, but provide a loan camera for the customer. In hindsight, I would have checked the repair notes and checked loan availability before greeting the customer. We would have been able to assess the situation a lot quicker. I've learned how to communicate in a more concise and efficient way, not to go off on tangents and stick to the main information, and to ensure that everyone understands the points that have been made. Secondly, I've learned to be patient. It's important to understand that other people have different cultural approaches and speeds when it comes to learning, especially as the ideas can come from a more culturally diverse team. They can lead to be more innovative, and it can challenge the cultural norms that you can hold and encourages you to embrace other cultural practices. Thirdly, productivity can take many forms. For example, some of my classmates worked during the night, whereas I prefer to work during the day. Just because its method differs from mine doesn't make it wrong. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. I just wanted to take the time to say thank you very much for everything that you've done so far.